Retro Zap.
And welcome everybody to a special episode of the Animaniacs.
Finished.
At last, I knew we could do it. Let's see what you wrote. Behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not bad, Jefferson. So what are you going to call this?
The Declaration of Independence.
Welcome everybody once again to the Animaniacs. This is the podcast that is dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows in the Rueggerverse, such as Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky and the Brain, and Freakazoid. But today, I am all alone for the introduction of today's episode. Yes, Nathan and Kelly both have the 4th of July off today, so we decided to release a patriotic episode of the Animaniacs, or maybe we should call it a Patreonic episode of the Animaniacs. That's right, we are releasing the commentary for episode 21 of Animaniacs, which features the segments The Flame, Wacko's America, Davy Omelette, and 7 Migraines Ago. And this is from our Patreon. That's right, we have over 25 episode commentary tracks for Animaniacs over on our Patreon, and each one of those commentaries features the creator of the show, Tom Ruegger, and a few of them even have special appearances by folks like Paul Rugg as well. So if you enjoy our podcast and you'd like to support our show, well, please consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Animaniacs. You'll get access to hours of commentary tracks, as well as bonus audio and video, and you can even sign up to get exclusive Animaniacs vinyl decals, and even vintage Animaniacs trading cards signed by Tom Ruegger. And we have lots of other incentives planned as well. It's really the listeners over at Patreon that help keep us on track and make us a better podcast, and we truly appreciate each one of our patrons who are able to give us support. So before I go, just make sure you subscribe to the Animaniacs on your favorite podcast player. You can subscribe to the Retro Zap podcast feed to get this podcast and all other Retro Zap podcasts delivered to your device for free. And come on over to our Retro Zap Discord group. The welcome link is discord.animaniacast.com. And of course, make sure to follow the Animaniacs on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So, without any further ado, please enjoy this commentary, and to enjoy lots more of them, please head on over to patreon.com/Animaniacs today. Thanks.
Hey, this is Tom Ruegger, and you're listening to the Animaniacs.
Welcome, patrons, back to Animaniacs Creators Commentary with Tom Ruegger. And Hello. Today we are back, and we're talking about episode 21 of Animaniacs, and this is, I guess you could say, this is our first themed patriotic episode.
Yes, this is very America-centric. We have Abe Lincoln, we have Thomas Jefferson, we got Davy Crockett. We have all the states and their capitals. It's packed with the United States material.
Yes, indeed. We have The Flame, which was directed by Barry Caldwell. It's a story by Tom Ruegger. Teleplay was by Nicholas Hollander and Tom Ruegger. 7 Migraines Ago, which was directed by Alfred Gimeno. Story once again by Tom Ruegger and Paul Rugg. And this teleplay was Gordon Bressick, Charles M. Howell, and Paul Rugg. Wacko's America, Rusty Mills and Ron Fleischer directed it. And Randy Rogel and Tom Ruegger. Roger?
Ogre?
Tom Ruegger. Who is this guy? Wrote it. And finally, Chicken Boo is back. This is a packed episode. Davey Omelette. Rusty Mills directed this one, and Deanna Oliver wrote it, of course, because it's Chicken Boo. And so there's a lot of great stuff in here. I think we should get right into it. Nathan, tell us, how do we make sure that everybody is on the same page as us?
All right. Okay. So first you have to start your video. That's number one.
Wherever it is.
Okay. But then get ready, because you're going to have to pause the video as soon as Bugs Bunny disappears. As soon as it goes to black, you pause it, and then Joey's going to tell you to unpause it. In a second? 5 seconds?
Maybe. We'll find out. Okay. Everyone's past Bugs Bunny, and now we're paused, and now we're going to unpause it in 1, 2, 3, and go. So, the first one coming up right here is The Flame, which features one of your sons, Tom.
Yes, Luke Ruegger, at the age of 6, and I brought him in. My favorite line in this whole half hour is Luke saying, "Imagine my embarrassment." And it's when he realizes, I'm the flame. The flame realizes that he is a flame. This episode, very charming, very beautiful, and the whole half hour is great. And I really think the first one, The Flame, shows off the genius of Barry Caldwell. Not only just his drawings really show up in this episode, but just the way he imaginatively directed it with the little, like, the dance of the shadows. It really is a gorgeous episode.
Yeah, I love these themed episodes too. Just when there's
this is very strongly themed. Yes.
Yeah. And the score of this is just incredible.
And this is TMS, I think, doing the
It is.
animation on this. Yeah, which is they're very good at detail, and when it comes to certain parts in this with the flame and fire, I could only assume that it has to be kind of difficult to animate fire.
Well, Barry did all these poses of in the storyboard. He really drew out almost every move this character made, and being a flame, it is forgiving. You can go off model with a flame. If you know
yes,
what I
that's
mean.
true. You can bend and you can stretch a little bit differently and bend.
But he really brought this baby to life, and TMS did an awesome job.
Well, great use of light and shadows, especially right here, is just really cool.
Yeah, this is production-wise. This one's packed. I mean, the animation's great, the layout's great, the storyboard was brilliant. Just fabulous. And the score, I keep going back to that. I mean, I think Carl Johnson and Richard Stone and Steve Bernstein are all involved in this beautiful score.
So did you have to, I'm assuming you just fed a line by line to your son, right, as he's going through?
I was in the booth with him, facing him, and he's 6. He was 6 at the time. And so, but he really, of the my 3 sons, and I love them all, and they're all brilliant. Luke, at a very early age, was sort of a natural. He was just like uncanny how he didn't need much help. He had the script right in front of him, and at age 6, he's reading this thing.
Wow.
So I was literally there just to keep him sort of focused, making sure he was on mic. And Andrea was in the booth, Andrea Romano, our voice director, and she was like, saying, okay, let's line 7, take 3. She was doing that stuff. And, if we weren't getting the right sound, she would tell us. But Andrea cracked up when he said, "Imagine my embarrassment." And so, and everyone that heard it thought, "Oh, we have to keep that exactly the way he did it." And you really can hear the sweetness in his voice.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
you're getting that youthful quality.
Well, there's like it's yeah. I mean, it's just excellent acting, really, on the part of him, that he can know the inflection of different words and the meaning, and it's really fantastic.
Yeah. I'm guessing you had to get him to laugh, or
Yeah,
like laughing is something you can't like fake.
Yeah, the
really.
laughing, I would basically, I wouldn't tickle him, but I would threaten to tickle him, and that would make him laugh. See, this is Barry's invention, which I just thought, God, if it weren't so brilliant, I'd cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Like,
I
Well,
mean,
it's yeah.
it had nothing to do with the story, but it was like, oh my gosh, it does have. I mean, it really does have something to do with this beautiful character doing magical things.
mm-hmm.
And I loved how he created this little multiple flame scenario coming up.
Yes.
And you're really feeling the tension here. You're thinking, oh, is it the little flame could die if he's not attached? So it's the suspense here, tension.
Oh no!
Here we go.
This is very
Like a
Disney-esque.
Fantasia, yeah.
Yes, very
yes.
Fantasia.
You gotta love the composers putting this together. Oh my gosh.
But this is, I mean, looking at the lineup, this is our first Animaniacs segment that really breaks away from all of them. That this is, it's totally different. This is not this is a little bit more serious in some ways.
Yeah.
It's not wacky, crazy.
Mhm.
No.
It's just a beautiful thing, which is what the series would do, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is an episode I wanted to make, and no one objected. You know, I just thought it would be a fun little story. See the Declaration of Independence written from the point of view of the candle that lit the night Jefferson was writing it.
I recently visited Philadelphia a couple of years ago and immediately thought about this episode going outside Independence Hall there.
He's 6 and he's getting through this beautifully.
Yeah, how does he? Yeah, I can read this. Like,
I know. I'm a teacher of middle school students. If I asked them to read any of this, it would, boy. And it just took. If you were to estimate how many hours it took to get through a recording with just like an hour or 2 hours, like how long would you
this
take?
session?
Yeah, the session.
Oh, I'd say it was definitely no more than 2 hours.
wow.
See,
Yeah.
natural, and he's still doing, does like voice work for you and stuff like that, going throughout the years and stuff. And
He does. He's very good, and he's got lots of voices, lots of talent. He's a little shy about his talent, but I still force him to do it. I still insist that he do it. Again, TMS is beautiful animation. And then it has it looks like you could be sad there. I was like, oh, that's sad. He's gone. But then he's not.
Yeah.
Yay.
So
Adorable.
cute and
Adorable.
awesome. Yes.
Adorable. Yeah, that's a beautiful.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is a great episode to show to like middle schoolers. Or,
Oh yeah.
It's just like the perfect episode. Just like,
Any teacher could show this to their students and be able to write it off as as teaching.
Well, I gotta say that I have used this song in my head to come up with the capital of specific states.
I do that as well. I just went to an online trivia event, and they were like, "What's how many
Baton
states
Rouge,
have this letter?"
Louisiana is so easy now.
Yes,
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I love Valerie Bertinelli.
Bertinelli.
That's fantastic. I love the faces on this. Again, this is Star Tunes doing all the animation here.
All 100.
That's for 500. You gotta go for it.
Yeah, I guess that's
Miss
true.
Flamille, though, actually doing an engaging lesson, though. This is very different than her first appearance.
Yeah, she did not have this sort of fun sense back then. And who knew? Wacko can play a fiddle.
We got to see Jess perform this live in San Diego. It was very...
Did they show the picture behind him?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I honestly,
They might have played this video.
It's kind of hard when Jess is out performing live. His jacket's
You're kind of
usually
watching him. Yeah.
he's usually taking up most of your attention.
Yeah. You got the hair thing going.
Yeah. Well, I remember first seeing him when I was in high school and going, "That's Wacko, whoa."
Yeah.
Does not fit the voice as what you think it is.
So Joey, even back then, did Jess have the same style, or has it changed since then?
It's not as flashy with rhinestones, but it's still the same hair. It was
Okay.
yeah. and he's lost weight. He's thinner than he was, but
Arizona.
yeah.
Okay. It's just like
Well, no, we play. It's such a nerdy thing. I got the soundtrack of Animaniacs, and I played this song at a high school get together with and when it got to Phoenix, Arizona, my fellow Arizonan students went, "Yay!" Shout out.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to say it, and then they said it.
They did it.
By the way, that's a tough one. Frankfort, Kentucky. I would not have been able to come up with that. Charleston's tough too.
That's all the capitals.
Point with your tail at the end. It's very cute.
She's a monster. What an evil teacher. Wah, wah.
At least give him partial credit.
Yeah.
This is another one of my favorite chicken boos. I don't know. I like almost every chicken boo, but this one has one of my favorites. So Davy Crockett parody.
Yes. And George Russell was Davy Crockett's partner in the Disney Davy Crockett King of the Wild Frontier. So
In
here we
color.
have, and it was played by Buddy Epson. So this is a Buddy Epson parody.
Ah,
Frank Welker doing the voice. And there's the first appearance of World's Oldest Woman.
yes. Later
From
going to
Hysteria.
Hysteria. So
Same voice.
yeah, when it came to, we'll talk about Hysteria for a moment. Was that a conscious decision, or was that a mandate that you had to use different designs or for Hysteria as much as possible? Or
No. Hysteria was just this character. I always loved this character. And it's not really the exact same character. We made the World's Oldest Woman actually a little prettier than this woman.
yes,
And I just love that voice that Tress always did. So we just built a franchise around her.
Yeah, it's a very recognizable Tress voice.
Yeah,
Just like,
yeah.
oh, there we go.
There's Jess, and there's Tress, and there's Rob. It's a chicken. And then the bear thing is completely taken from the Davy Crockett King of the Wild Frontier, because Bess Parker playing Davy Crockett would smile at the bear, and he would out-grin the bear and chase it away.
Wow. Well, I think, like most people, the most I know about Davy Crockett is just what I see in Disneyland, walking around.
And unfortunately, Chicken Boo gets caught up in the celebration.
Look at his giant shoes.
It's his downfall. This is ACOM, I believe, doing this animation.
Oh, Chicken Boo. Well.
Oh, what? Davy Crockett? What? What? Hey.
And now he's
Sway back.
That's a great line. That's Deanna Oliver at work. I'll be a swayed back marsupial.
Smile does not work this time.
No.
Poor Chicken Boo.
And this is TMS did this little rap. This is like in a sort of a tower escape cartoon, but
through the nose.
Yeah.
Now, I think you had mentioned, Tom, that this whole episode was originally going to be submitted for an Emmy, but then it got mixed up and then wasn't. Is that right?
This episode was not supposed to be sent in as our Emmy episode.
Okay.
We had a different episode in mind, but the person sent in the this episode, and so we were sitting there at the Emmys, really hoping and thinking we might win, and they showed clips from the different in the category. They showed clips from the different nominated shows, and the clip they showed was from The Flame, and we thought we looked at each other and said, "Wait a minute, that's not the episode we sent in, is it?" And
oh no!
And then we didn't win, and we thought, did we screw up here? And it turns out we completely sent the wrong episode, which is probably not what you should do if you're trying to win these things.
Please tell me Carmen Sandiego didn't win or something.
I don't
like
remember what
Okay.
one. I think maybe Rugrats, something like that. But
okay.
we did win the next year because I think we literally hand messengered the episode to the.
I mean, there are worse episodes to have sent in for sure, but
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's,
I mean, because I would think you still had a chance to win even with this episode.
totally.
So it's
It's just that we thought we wanted to send in a very, very funny episode, and so this one isn't quite as funny as others, but
yeah.
it all worked out. Everything's cool. By the way, every once in a while, Abe Lincoln looks a little like Gregory Peck, but the voice is not a Gregory Peck impression.
Who's doing the voice right here? This is I don't know, but he sounds almost like the Lincoln from from Disneyland or something.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Peter Renaday
Wow. Okay.
plays Lincoln.
So it's such an educational episode.
I like how in the beginning he was doing quotes from Kennedy's speeches and Winston Churchill, and so now the Warners are gonna give him suggestions for an opening that are basically the openings to TV shows.
Gettysburgers. That should be a restaurant.
Gettysburgers. Very nice.
Gettysburgers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go.
Make me cranky.
I mean, it's important, I think, for people to note that this is like usually Animaniacs at the time was run right next to a rerun of Tiny Toons. So Tiny Toons was almost like, it was always partnered up next to this. So we'd see like Tiny Toons and then right afterwards Animaniacs. So seeing those connections between the two was really cool.
I think, a joke about Lincoln Savings, which is, I think it's, which is a political fireball back in the 90s with the Clinton administration. But I do know adults that heard that joke said, "What?" They couldn't believe it was mentioned in a kid cartoon show, and it hooked them on Animaniacs. Just that silly joke.
Just like how wacko. Oh, Jimmy Stewart.
It is Jimmy Stewart he's doing.
Yeah, that's really great.
Mr. Smith, kind of.
I don't think that part's in the actual speech then, right? That they
No, you cut a little out.
And I like how we just played this out, and it has kind of a sweet patriotic ending.
But yeah, learning that 4 score is 80 is pretty cool. It's
Oh, that's beautiful. It gives me tingles.
It was not a very well received speech though when he gave it. Like,
is that right?
Because it was so short.
Yeah. They weren't able to get a photo of it.
Yeah,
really.
They took a photo of him
done.
like walking, and then the photo was him just leaving because like it was done before. So they
You're supposed to talk for 2 hours back then, not
yeah, exactly. So like this less than a minute speech basically, and it's like
November. I'm in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's cold. I'm out of here.
You should have kept the line about ding dongs and ho hos.
Get your laughs. Yeah, tell your audience.
All right, thanks, patrons.
Thanks.
We'll be back next week with another episode.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animaniacast unless otherwise indicated.